Imagine a cargo ship hijacked by pirates, a U.S. Navy fleet racing into hostile waters, and one woman standing in command of it all. I am Mandatory Fun Day. This is Foregone Friday. That woman is Admiral Michelle Howard, and here is her story. Before the headlines, before the movie, before the snipers took their shots, there was Admiral Michelle Howard. She didn't like people touching our boats, and she knew how to be the whole problem. I'm just glad she was on our side. She was the first black woman to command a U.S. Navy ship, the first woman in U.S. history to wear 4 stars, and the real strategist behind the rescue of Captain Richard Phillips. This is not just a story of firsts. This is the story of what leadership looks like when everything's on the line. Make sure you watch to the end because I break down her career after the mission that would stitch her name into the fabric of Navy history. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, leave a comment. I love hearing your thoughts. Your father might not like hearing your thoughts, but I do. Michelle Howard was born in 1960 in Riverside, California. Her father was a master sergeant in the Air Force. Discipline, structure, and service were part of the household, but no amount of preparation could have made her journey easy, because when she entered the U.S. Naval Academy in 1978, she was walking into a place that had only begun admitting women 2 years prior. She wasn't just one of a few women, she was one of very few women of color. She was outnumbered, scrutinized, and expected to fail. But she didn't. She graduated in 1982 and began carving her way through the surface warfare community, a space almost entirely dominated by men. And in 1999, she made history. Michelle Howard became the first African-American woman to command a U.S. Navy ship, the USS Rushmore. This was an amphibious dock landing ship designed to move Marines and their gear to the fight. But that milestone wasn't her legacy. I love bringing up firsts. I love telling the stories of people who accomplished great things that no one else had up to that point. I believe those things are more than worth mentioning. But Michelle Howard isn't and shouldn't be measured by the things she did first. What is most important to her story is what she did after she was given the authority and placed into the positions that she was. Her legacy came 10 years later off the coast of Somalia. If you're into stories like this and want to help me keep digging them up, check out themandatoryfunday.com. You can pick up some merch. Website members get 20% off their order, access to exclusive content, and the ability to message me directly. There's also a link on my site to order military regulation compliant shirts. Your commander will hate me, but they will also know that you're going to be the whole problem. And that makes me happy. But let's get back to Admiral Howard's story. It was April 2009. The Maersk Alabama, a U.S.-flagged cargo ship, was hijacked by 4 armed Somali pirates in the Indian Ocean. It was the first time in 200 years that a U.S. cargo ship had been taken by pirates. The crew fought back and regained control of the ship, but the pirates escaped with one hostage, Captain Richard Phillips. They took him aboard a small lifeboat and began drifting aimlessly into international waters, surrounded by U.S. Navy warships closing in. The Navy responded fast, and in a twist of timing that couldn't be scripted better, Rear Admiral Michelle Howard had just been promoted. Her very first assignment at that rank? Commanding Task Force 151, the Navy's multinational anti-piracy unit in the region. She took command aboard the USS Bainbridge, very cool name, one of 3 U.S. Navy ships surrounding the lifeboat. Howard's job was not just symbolic, she was the operational commander on the scene. Did I say that's the coolest? Bainbridge? It's the coolest name ever. Every communication with the pirates, every repositioning of ships, every preparation made by the SEALs ran through her. The pirates had Phillips in a tiny, enclosed lifeboat, 18 feet long and overheating in the sun. They were exhausted, desperate, and paranoid. Many negotiators tried to keep them talking. The pirates had Phillips in a tiny, enclosed lifeboat, 18 feet long and overheating in the sun. They were exhausted, desperate, and paranoid. Navy negotiators tried to keep them talking. A U.S. Navy P-3 Orion aircraft provided overhead surveillance, but the real challenge was tempo. How do you keep pressure on pirates without pushing them over the edge? That balance was Admiral Howard's responsibility. She coordinated rules of engagement, tight communication protocols, intelligence feeds, and legal clearance in case deadly force became necessary. On day 3, the pirates made a critical mistake. They agreed to let the Bainbridge tow their lifeboat. You never let someone else touch your boats. That gave the Navy control over their positioning. At the same time, SEAL Team 6 had arrived and were prepping contingencies. Admiral Howard authorized a mobility denial strategy, disable the pirates' ability to maneuver, contain the situation, and create windows for snipers. When Navy intelligence judged that Phillips' life was in imminent danger, one pirate had raised an AK to his back. Howard had already prepared the battle space. The naval vessels and the ship containing 3 Somali pirates and their hostage rocked lazily on the waves of the Indian Ocean. The crew of the USS Bainbridge monitored communications, intelligence, and a constantly developing situation that could turn lethal at any second. Navy SEALs sat ready, as patient as death, and then it happened. A brief window of opportunity, an order given by the woman who commanded it all, 3 near simultaneous sniper shots, 3 pirates down, 1 hostage, Captain Phillips, rescued. The world heard about the SEALs. Hollywood made a movie. Tom Hanks got an Oscar nomination. But the woman who ran the operation, the admiral who coordinated strategy, pressure, force posture, and real-time decision under global scrutiny, barely got any attention. Michelle Howard didn't need the spotlight. She had the results. And her career didn't stop there. In 2014, she became the first woman in U.S. Navy history to become a 4-star admiral. She was named Vice Chief of Naval Operations, the 2nd highest ranking officer in the Navy. Later, she took command of U.S. Naval Forces Europe and Africa, overseeing fleets across 2 continents, managing operations from the Mediterranean to the Gulf of Guinea. Her strategic mind, her steady hand, and her ability to lead across cultures and command structures made her not just a trailblazer, but a standard. She retired in 2017 after 35 years of service, but she didn't disappear. She became a teacher, a speaker, a board member, a literal living legacy. Every woman and every leader who enters the military now does so in a world where Michelle Howard proved it could be done at the highest levels. If this story inspired you, check out some of my other deep dives into military legends, people who shaped wars, led against the odds, or got erased from the credits. Drop a comment, let me know what you thought, and hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. I love telling these stories, and I want to tell more. There should be some videos up on the screen that you can click. If you enjoyed this one, give one of my other history videos a watch and let me know what you think in the comments.